So, welcome to BookFilter. I'm Michael Giltz. Today we're talking with actress Mary Louise Wilson, Tony winner Mary Louise Wilson. That's always nice to say. She's on a hit Broadway show right now, the musical revival on the 20th Century, playing Miss Primrose. She has a documentary film being made about her life, and she has her memoir just out, My First 100 Years in Show Business. Thank you for taking the time to talk with me.
And you're welcome.
I'm worried. I'm worried about you.
Yes.
Because I picked up the book and I went, and my first thought was, oh, it's a little thin. You know, it's right, but then I started to read it and I realized that, oh, you just put in the good stuff. You know, it's one great story after another.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well.
And what are you going to do at dinner parties? I feel like I sat next to you at a dinner party and you told every great story. You could do it for 100 nights in a row, but now they're all in there.
Yeah, I know. I have nothing more to say.
I
have nothing to add.
You'll have to make up stories about, you know, Kristen Chenoweth and Peter Gallagher, your co-stars, you know, make up stuff. So
right, because I didn't get to them when the book came out, so that's another book. Actually, I think now if I were going to sit down and write this book, it'd be totally different.
Well, it was the first time you wrote it, wasn't it? So what would it be this time?
It would be more. It would be more longer. It would be. I have to tell you, there's this writer named Carl O. Knausgaard.
Oh, sure.
Okay, you know who he is. A lot of people don't. He's changed my whole view of everything, you know, because he puts everything down.
Everything.
Yeah, and I wish I had done that, you know. But I didn't want to hurt feelings, and I didn't want to come across as a curmudgeon. You know, I was presenting my public self in that, I think, somewhat. And it's the same thing with Knausgaard, but very, very different. The thing about him is his dissatisfaction with the modern life, and you know, you're not allowed to be. He has a lovely wife. He has 3 children he adores, and he's miserable. You know, and that you're not supposed to be. You can't. You know, and I love the fact that he's Norwegian, but this is a worldwide thing. You know, that there's something about our modern life where we can't. There's certain things that can't be admitted. You know,
like
dissatisfaction. Yeah.
Well,
there has to be a reason.
Isn't that why you're in New York? Because you get to be a crank, you get to be eccentric, you get to be.
Yes, but I never feel I can be. You know, I can't. I have to always be. You know, aren't you excited? You know, today is actually the day the book comes out. You know.
Well, it's tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah. Isn't today the 30th? No, tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have appropriate responses. You know what I mean? I'm not unhappy.
Yeah. Well, my mother, I come up from a big family, and some of your family dynamics sounded familiar to me. Having to fight for attention, keep everybody entertained. Yeah. And she said, well, why don't you write a play or a book? And I said, oh, I've written a play, but I have to wait for you to die before I can do it. She says, well, you wouldn't say anything mean, would you? I said, no, just the truth.
Yeah.
So was that part of the holding back on the memoir? Because there's a lot of, you know, painful personal stuff.
Yeah. Well, it was just holding back because I just was embarrassed to tell these things. And a writer friend said, the stuff you're embarrassed about is what we really want to read. So,
that's the good stuff.
So I put it in. And somehow I didn't mind. I let go of whatever feelings I had around it, of embarrassment.
It started as a book about the creation of Full Gallop, one of the key moments in your career, one-woman show about Vogue editor Diana Vreeland, and the rest of your life kept pushing its way in.
It did. I just felt, well, I've got to tell more of this or more of that. But it was also friends reading it and saying, you're not in this. You know, we want to know more.
Well, and that's one of the things you talk about in the book. You sort of didn't let yourself be the hero of even your own story.
It's true.
It's like even your own memoir, you don't get to be the hero. That doesn't seem fair.
I don't know what that is. My friend
it's a lot
Mark,
of therapy
Mark Hampton,
is what it is.
Right. My friend Mark Hampton, you know, who wrote the play Full Gallop with me, said one time, I think this is in the book, he commented on my performance and he said, you're acting like you're the featured player
in a one-woman show. So you're the star. It was very tough. You had to let yourself be successful in a way.
I did. I know it sounds strange, yeah, but I did. And I have a tendency in shows to hold back, which I've only recently become aware of, you know. At this point in 20th century, I'm really just throwing it all out there, you know, because, I don't know, I finally did it.
Well, you've got one of the great visual gags in Broadway history. It's very memorable from the original production. You on the train. It's just one of the great stunts in theater. It must have been a lot of fun to do.
It was.
It's a very demanding show.
Very.
And what do you normally do on your day off?
Well, if
Do you keep your voice? Do you voice rest, or do you?
Oh no, I go out and sing in clubs. No, I normally sleep.
Mm-hmm.
It's very tiring, you know. It really is. You know, I mean, I have the energy out there. No one's phoning it in. We're all doing, you know, full out. But everybody's moaning backstage, you know, because we're tired.
Well, there's a lot of great stuff for people who love theater and haven't lived the life in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
Your book goes all over the place about making industrials, auditioning for commercials, auditions in general, unemployment lines. One of my favorite bits is that you mentioned how actors are never nicer to each other than when the show has closed, especially if it's a bomb.
Yeah, right. It's like being on a sinking ship. You know,
You all feel a comradeship as the water rises.
Right.
Nobody can be that mean because you're all going to drown.
Right.
Well, the book begins, the through line is Full Gallop, of course, but it begins from your childhood all the way through the Triumph of Grey Gardens, Tony-winning musical that is so good. And you described the film that it's based on as depressing. I thought it was hilarious.
Well, I know a lot of people did. I just identified. I think a lot of women do think, oh my God, am I going to end up being a bag lady? You know, there's that threat if you're self-supporting. You know, so that's, I think, what makes a lot of women cringe a bit.
Yeah, I mean, you cringe, but you're not laughing with them, but they're such strong, funny, alive people, even in those miserable circumstances.
Yeah.
There's something kind of wonderful about their lives shining through.
Little Edie reminds me a lot of my Aunt Helen. I had a lot of that at home.
Really? You had maybe too much of it. Yeah, I got enough of it.
You know, she was charming and beautiful, and then after the third drink, I'm going to steal your boyfriend. If you don't marry him, I'm going to sleep with him. You know, just like, oh, brother.
Well, you were born in Connecticut, but we
moved to New Orleans when I was a kid, very young.
Yeah, which is a much better place for creativity, isn't it? It feels like a more fertile.
Well, it was a hell of a lot better than New Haven. Yeah, I hated New Haven. Even in the crib, I looked up and thought, look at all these phone wires. I hate it here.
And so New Orleans, you love. And you grew up with your brother and your sister. And your brother was closeted. He didn't know he was gay, but you didn't know for a long time.
I knew and I didn't know, you know, that's what everybody in the 50s did. It was suppressed, you know.
Well, I didn't even know there were gay people, so it took a while. Yeah, so I didn't know, there was nothing to know for a while. Then slowly I realized.
Yeah.
It took some time.
Yeah.
But that's what you did. But dealing with that in the book, how did that make you look back on your relationship as a child with your brother and your sister and your family and see it in any new way? Were you just reminding yourself of what was going on? Or?
No, I somewhere I knew that my brother was different.
Oh, sure.
You know, and I ached for him. I did. It mortified me that he was I felt bad for him. I really identified with him emotionally. So.
And your book comes out the week that gay people get the right to marry across the United States.
I'll say they were parading around down below my apartment window. It was like madness.
They certainly were. Yesterday it was Gay Pride Day.
Oh my God, yeah.
And
yes, I wish my brother had lived to now. I really do. I wish he would have, because what he wanted was respectability. He did.
Yeah, you talk about wanting him wanting to be on the social register.
And when he was dying, you know, it was amazing.
It's amazing what matters to people.
I know, because my mother was this. I saw her as this, you know, petit bourgeois, you know, wanting to be in the social register. And I often thought my brother turned into my mother. See, that I would write another book about.
Well, then there's nothing stopping you. You know, that's a rich material.
I know.
You know, you can. You can do you could have done a whole book about your childhood.
Yeah. Well, I might.
And then it was a sort of an offhand comment of a teacher in a way that sent you off into the world of theater.
Yeah.
It really was. Yeah. I mean, you're just walking down the hall and she's, where are you going to school?
Yeah.
And that's all it was. That was literally, you might have not.
You should go to a good theater school. You had talent. What? You know, I was failing in school. The teachers hated me, and then suddenly this guy says you have talent. You know.
But it's not the first time that you did. You say, well, even with that idea that it was sort of undiscovered and nobody encouraged you, and suddenly this came out of nowhere. You did talk about like performing the entire first act of Arsenic and Old Lace, which at a parent-teacher meeting, or
yeah, apparently. I was taking her to PTA meetings, you know, and they were much amused.
How long would the first act run, I wonder? I mean, what kind of was that, 40 minutes?
I have no idea.
No.
I have to look. I'll look it up.
I mean, that's really an elaborate.
I know. I had a different voice for all the characters.
Did you like turn, or what did you didn't move around, or what did you do?
No, I just stood there and did it.
You stood there.
I don't think I was into physical life at all.
That's kind of amazing. That's a creaky play.
Yeah.
To be honest.
But in those days it wasn't.
No, those days it was
I
snappy.
grew up with thinking that Arsenic and Olace and The Women were the two great shows of all time, and I've done 2 productions of The Women, and I'm here to say, pardon me, Claire Lewis, it's a terrible play. It's awful.
What do you think of it as a movie? Is it better?
The movie was brilliant because of George Cukor and Rosalind Russell.
Mm-hmm.
It was a brilliant movie. You seen it?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I am gay, so of course I've seen the
Some
movie.
people would say they had never heard of it. I have to check now.
Hmm.
It's amazing.
You've got nieces and nephews and children. I say, oh no, you need to listen to Joni Mitchell Blue, or you need to read this book. You're like, you haven't heard of it?
What? Yeah.
It's crazy.
Awful.
So you went off into college and you jumped into acting. Mm-hmm. Did you ever look back? It doesn't seem like it.
No, I never felt I could do anything but make people laugh. I never had any other arrow in my
Quiver.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And making people laugh made you sort of an oddball in theater too, didn't it? Really, women. There were always female comedians, obviously, of course.
Yeah, but it's a tough road.
But yeah, you still felt like you. I mean, there's so many that you can point to.
You had to fill certain bills. If you were going to be funny, you had to be cute, and that was difficult for me.
You talked about blossoming.
Yeah.
You suddenly you were getting looks, and your family's going, "Where did this little orchid come from?"
I was good looking, but not
Dimply.
Shirley Temple. Not kooky like
Judy Holliday or
what's her name? Goldie Hawn.
Oh right.
Yeah, she was my era. That's when she was on Laugh-In when I was coming along. So.
And so, who did you look to? Who did you say?
Well, there were older comedians you've never heard of. Alice Ghostley, Alice, what the hell, Pierce, hilarious.
People from the theater or from
theater,
film?
Theater,
Okay, yeah.
And actually, I went into a thing in the book about comedians that I've adored, and I left out the ones that are still living. I mean, people like Cloris Leachman. Oh my God! I mean, I worship her. That's a great career.
Mm-hmm.
And
to go from Young Frankenstein to Last Picture Show.
Yeah.
It's tremendous.
Wonderful. And I just saw this Mel Brooks retrospective the other day where she's got a mustache in one of those German, maybe it is Frankenstein. She has a slight mustache. And I thought of doing one for Letitia Primrose. I try to do things every night that the boys will notice, Michael McGrath and Mark Lynn Baker, but they never do. I do funny eyebrows, moles. They don't pay attention.
The mole jumps around the face every night, and they don't notice.
No.
Well, that's what you have to do in the long run, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Is there a certain stage where you would think, oh my God, it's too long a run?
I'm thinking that now.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
How long was the Great Gardens run?
That was 11 months, and I thought Christine and I were both going to go into a hospital afterwards. I did. Even though I was in bed most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were lying down. It seems you like to think people are like, oh, that's easy. Just lie in bed and say your funny lines.
I lying in bed 8 times a week. I don't know. It was tough. It's really tough, 8 shows a week. They should really change the rules and have understudies go on for the matinees or something.
Nobody would go, though.
I don't think that's true. I don't know.
You don't think they're saying that I want to see Tony Winter, Mary Louise Wilson?
I think people would say if they couldn't get tickets to the evening, they will. What the hell?
See the show.
Matinee.
Maybe there'd be some good young talent there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That would be all the older crowd too. The matinees are where the hearing aids go off.
Right.
So.
They don't know what they're looking at.
No. So you went off, and then you went to theater, and then you jumped to New York, which is where you go, isn't it?
I always knew I wanted to come here. Always.
I always did too. I grew up and I read the New York Times.
Yes.
When it was difficult. Now.
Yes.
I had to literally drive for like 40 minutes to get the Sunday Times.
Yeah.
It wasn't available all over the country, and
Right.
I would look and I'd go, oh, I want to go to the Angelica. Look at all these movies playing here that would never come to your hometown. Look at all the plays. Look at all the shows.
Yeah.
Did you do that in New Orleans, or you're just like, oh, I know I need to be in New York?
Well, and if you go back more decades, the movie thing was different. They weren't these art houses.
No.
Well, they were. I'm wrong. They came in during, when I was in college. The movies from Europe.
50s and 60s.
Yeah, at the Thalia. We went to the Thalia all the time. The minute I got to New York, that movie house.
You just lived there, yeah.
Yeah. And the Waverly, which is now the IFC. And I lived right in back of the Greenwich Movie Theater where I saw all kinds of fabulous the great films of
You could
the
just
70s.
walk around the street.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very fun.
It was wonderful.
And that makes life as an actor so much more. Suddenly you're seeing everything, and you don't have to just read about it, you can see it.
Exactly, yeah. No, everything about New York. It was also the fashion that drew me, the girls, you know. I wanted to be I wanted to be chic, you know.
And you were influenced by Diana Vreeland even before you knew it, you
Yeah,
said.
it was amazing.
How was that? What was happening?
Well, my first job was a fashion photography studio, and I heard about this editor. There's no name, but there was some power up there that was telling me where the hems of my dress should be. And if it was off, it changed every year. And if it was above the knee or just at the middle of the knee and it was supposed to be below the knee, you were dead. You know, it was very specific what you should wear. And I listened to it all, you know, the little sheaths, the little gloves, the little shoes, the matching purse and shoes, you know, and that was all from someone up there, yeah.
Who's literally up there now.
Right.
A lot of stuff you talk about I'm familiar with, even if I hadn't had a chance to see it. Like, I certainly never saw Nichols and May in concert. I've heard the albums, of course.
Yes.
But one thing that was new to me, I hadn't heard about, is the Julius Monk reviews.
Yeah.
So
they were a big deal.
Tell me about them. What was you talk about being in them, and of course you got a part, and you were in the show for 3 years, which is tremendous. That's like your finishing school, or that's your real education.
Yeah, absolutely.
3 years in a review.
It's just this guy, Julius Monk, had been a maitre d' or something at some club, and he just
Maitre d'.
Yeah, he had a terrific. Well, actually, he was even in France. Bricktop had a bar he worked in. He was a Southern guy, very, very attractive, tall, willowy, with mustache and genteel manners. But he had a real facility for knowing how to follow an act, and that was a big thing in nightclubs. You had
a seamless night of entertainment.
You had a singer and then a dancer or whatever. So he put that skill into funny skits and songs together, and it started off in this little bar, the Purple Onion, and he had people like Ronnie Graham. Now that's a name you probably don't know, but Graham was a comedian who was funny standing there, but he was sort of a hipster type, and he did a whole routine on teaching kids in high school how to roll a joint, and these people that they were skits almost invariably written by young writers like Woody Allen and a lot of other people about New York things. They were mostly based about New York, you know. And it just grew into this. He finally moved into the downstairs, this bar, 56, thank you, yeah, I can remember. And it became extremely fashionable, very, very, the thing to go.
The famous people that came in there, it was everyone.
Yeah. It was wit, it was a kind of wit and lightness and charm. And when I saw it, I just thought, the big thing was, it seemed to me they were having a party off stage. Just off stage in the dressing room, and I wanted to be in that party. You know, there was just something going on there that below the surface of fun. You know, and
how was it different from other shows, or what was the impact, or what was it that made it so special? Just his touch, I guess. His touch,
but also it was light. It was quick. It wasn't dragged out or overdone. It was. I don't know what the difference.
It wasn't Ed Sullivan where you bring out another.
Right. It had a kind of pace, you know, and the kind of wit that I think died, particularly when after the assassinations, things changed. The humor changed. It was kind of bitter stand-up. It was just different. You couldn't make jokes about. Well, here's an example. I was given a song that was a Scottish jig about Patrice Lumumba, who was an African leader, and his name was funny, but to us, that you know. So this writer had me singing, "Is it Bonnie Patrice Lumumba coming lightly o'er the lea?" And then we read in the papers that they're stuffing his speeches in his mouth and setting them on fire. You know,
not so funny.
Not so funny. Yeah.
So you're doing that review, and you got into the review. You got a part on this. You got a part in it for 3 years. Was the party backstage? Was it exciting?
Oh
backstage?
My God! Yeah, we were almost married. You know, we did 2 shows a night, every night except one, and we was like we socialized with each other.
You were the only people who had your hours.
Yes.
It's just like theater people always do.
Yeah.
What did you learn doing the show? Just the experience.
No, I learned how not to. I don't know. I think I just got over some of my self-consciousness about delivering lines.
You had to because you were in front. You had to do it two nights, right?
Yeah,
Twice
yeah.
a night, every
Yeah.
night.
I don't know what changed. Just doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea how sophisticated the music that we were being given and singing roles. I knew nothing about singing, and I would get a harmony thing, and Billy Roy was brilliant. Would give it to me by saying "Home, home on the range," you know. So I would sing, you know what I mean. That's how I came in on the right note. And I had no idea until later how sophisticated those things were, the medleys that we did.
And yet you weren't happy. You're there. You're in the show you dreamed of being in, and you're going, "Oh, look at Second City over there. They look like they're having fun."
So much the way, you know. Always the thing over there looks great.
Always afraid to say yes to a role.
Yeah.
No, that's usually. I always picture actors saying yes to everything,
Yeah.
anything, and you're like, "Oh,
Well, I'd say yes and then go, oh.
what have I done now?"
Yeah. There were things that were offered to me that I just didn't want to do.
Well, there are smart ways to say no, right? You know, it's maybe it's the lead role, but it's not a good show. You know,
Yeah, but there's no way to say no and have them say, okay, they will court you, phone you, take you to lunch, you know, hound you, because they can't accept no. And it's horrifying. It really is, yeah.
One doesn't hear about actors being hounded to take parts.
I know, it sounds awful when I say it.
But, no, it's fascinating.
The parts weren't any good.
Yeah. And there's like, what do you mean you won't take our part? We offered you a role.
I know.
You're supposed to kiss our feet.
You're right. So I had to write letters and...
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Could make up excuses or no? Yeah.
Yeah, I have. I've allowed about, you know, my personal life.
That's always useful.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go take care of my mother. You know, something like that.
Yeah. I wish you were back in the day when an agent said, I won't let my lady do this. You know, but that doesn't happen anymore.
No, they always say, it's a job.
Yeah, right.
Was there something you were, everybody has roles that I turned it down, turned out to be a good show, or they,
No.
No? You had good taste.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So how was it freeing when you finally did that? You're writing this book, the rest of your life is pushing its way, and you're like, I gotta tell about doing auditions, or I gotta tell about being in unemployment. And when you told some of these stories, was it freeing when you finally said, no, it's okay?
Oh my God, yeah. It was terrific.
Mm-hmm.
It's a terrific thing to do, is to write your life and put it over there, because I never thought of myself as successful. You're laughing.
I am laughing. This time I'm laughing at you, not with you. So I'm like, he's like, you know, because you didn't think you're successful because, I mean, working. If you work in the theater and you're not doing another job, you're already successful.
I always felt I should have worked much more.
Of course.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Every minute of every day. Well, as soon as that one job is over, you're worried you'll never have another one again.
Oh,
Like
always.
classes,
Yeah, it's horrible. You drop into this void.
Are you already on the 20th century? Okay, now in a few months or 6 months or whatever, I'll be done with this and I need something else coming? Are you already thinking about what's...
No.
No?
I'm just thinking about not coming in to the show the first week, you know, after.
Sleeping for a week.
Yeah. Maybe not combing my hair.
What a relief that'll be.
Oh,
Don't you normally comb your hair?
I can't wear my hair out normally because it's, you know, tortured by the wig, so I just jam a hat on my head.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I never thought about that. So when you're doing a show, usually you've got something on.
I sleep with a hat on my head.
It's that bad. You don't know. So you're in New York. You're in this review, and you get an opportunity for another part, and you move on. But it's 3 years. You had a huge.
I was ready to go.
Yeah, you had done your internship.
I had. And we moved to the Plaza Hotel, and it had gotten very.
It was never the same.
No.
The space of a show is so important.
It really is. It's amazing you know that. But you're an actor too?
No. But if I was, I'd be a character
actor.
Difference.
Yeah, sure.
Clearly.
You'd be on my list.
Thank you. Yeah. But it really does. I mean, you talk about doing Full Gallop, which is the through line of the book, the creation of this show, which was such a triumph, and all the many different spaces you did it, and what an effect that has on the performance in the show and how it's seen and taken.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is. So important. I think a lot of shows, they suffer when they go to Broadway, from a small house off Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer to go to an off-Broadway house.
Oh, of course. It's like
Yeah.
seeing a concert. You'd rather
I
see
think
an
it's
act in a
because
club.
we watched television a lot and film that we like to be closer to the actors. I don't know.
Well, you just can see them better. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's not that you're being picky. It's like, well, I can actually see what you're doing.
And they can impact you more, I think, yeah.
Not only do I want to be in a small house, but I want to be in the front row. I want to be close.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to be in the back row.
Now.
hmm
No.
What was the so the show that you jumped to was, of course, was it Threepenny Opera?
No, it
No.
was a hot spot, a famous...
Getting everything confused.
That's okay,
Yeah.
50 years ago. It was a big bomb, famous bomb, hot spot.
What is it like when you jump from you've got a working job and you jump into a show? I mean, do you just think, oh, why did I leave? Or
No, I didn't
No.
think that. I was I was in shock after that show because I had never been on Broadway before, and of course you have an idea about Broadway.
it's glamour and excitement.
Yeah, and the first rehearsal, Marty Charnon stood up and said, "We don't have a second act," and everybody applauded. And I thought, what?
They were applauding because he admitted it.
I guess, yeah. We never did have a second act.
But you did one. You performed one.
Yes.
You just didn't have it.
We didn't have it. Yeah.
Were you relieved when the hot spot closed because it was just not successful? Not
I
working?
wasn't surprised. None of us were
You
surprised.
weren't shocked.
Opening night on Broadway, we were in our dressing rooms getting ready, and we heard this music we'd never heard before. We were all like, "Hey, are we in the right theater?" They'd rewritten the overture, you know.
Oh my God.
Oh, that was just the beginning.
That's a little disconcerting.
Oh my. Yeah, it's no surprise, but that catapulted me into the void after Hot Spot. Here I'd had this years of the review and kind of a sinecure, you know, and the bright young thing that everybody recognized, you know, and then suddenly nothing, you know, not phone ringing.
You were in a
nothing.
flop.
Yeah, yeah. And I was just out on my own. You know, that was a very difficult time for me.
You talk the book really gets across the idea of working in the theater, of doing
Good.
other jobs,
Good.
of struggling, of
Yeah.
no matter how, even when you have success, how it's hard, and then
Yeah.
the next job, because you're always having to start from scratch, aren't you?
Right.
That's why you
Yes.
said, maybe I'll write a book. That'll be another,
Yeah,
do something
yeah.
on the side.
Right.
What did you do after Hot Spot?
I did this horrible summer stock production of Oklahoma, which
That's
made
right.
me even more depressed.
With a manic
because-
depressive Judd, right? The poor guy he was unhappy. He
was very unhappy. So was I, and so we got together and became even more unhappy.
It was pre-Zoloft. He would have been better later.
Yeah.
But it's even when you're doing summer stock, that's horrible. But you learn, or you.
I don't know.
No, you didn't.
No, they didn't. The reviewer said that I was playing Ado Annie, which I'd always wanted to do in
Right.
high school and everything. That I was too nymphomaniacal for the role.
She's the girl that can't say no. I mean, how can
I
you tune
don't
it from?
know. Everybody else was phoning it in. I think that was the difference.
Can you quote your good reviews? Because everybody can quote their bad reviews. It seems like they savor those. They remember them. The negative ones are the ones that you always, the slightest little word you remember. Ah, yeah.
Yeah, I do, but no, I don't. I've memorized them. No, I don't know. Well, John Simon liked me, which I didn't know if that was a
Thank
good
God for
thing.
that. Well-
He called me an hysterical emu in one show that I did. And then when I did 2 productions of The Women, and one was with Myrna Loy, and
Myrna Loy is one of my favorite movie actresses of all time.
wonderful woman.
Great gal. What's she fun in life?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
good.
And so anyway, with this woman, John Simon called me a dainty virago. And the other actresses used to kid me. I'd be coming on stage, dainty virago. He loved me.
Mhm.
That was nerve-making, because, you know, he just destroyed other women.
Yeah, he was terrible.
Oh,
He was
my
nasty.
God. Yeah.
I worked at New York Magazine briefly for a year, and he was always polite and kind to me. So I have
Yes.
nothing negative to say
Right.
about John Simon.
No, right.
But a nasty critic, very personal
Yeah.
about your appearance.
Oh, my
He
God.
thought everyone should be his idea of pretty. If he
Yes.
wasn't, he was very.
Right.
Mhm.
That's the worst thing you can do, is attack somebody's physical.
'Cause there's-
But I have to tell you that I made a tombstone. I'm the last in my family, and I thought, and we are all cremated, so there are no graves, but we put stones in the cemetery of our plot.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the last, and we were doing stones from other members of my family. I thought, well, I'll do my own, because...
No one else is going to do it.
Yeah, so on it I put, she's the best thing in it. And the reason I did that is I've been in so many bombs. I mean, I didn't write about all the bombs. They're just endless, you know, but... You know, that people would come backstage and say, well, you're the best thing in it.
They're trying to be nice. It's the best they can do. But
I have been writing all along.
that's what I was asking. Is
Oh,
you
yeah.
mentioned a journal for
Well, I belong to a writer's group, and actually I wrote some plays that are very funny, and no one does them.
Oh.
They're in the drama bookstore, but no one does them. They're short plays about the theater, and one of them is not. It's just two ladies who are trying to get to the theater, called Lost, and that play has been done all over the U.S., in London. It's maybe 10 minutes long,
Mm-hmm.
and Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts have done it, Catholic charities, prisons, the Army, and they pay me money to
Isn't that nice?
Yeah. It's this little 10-minute play about not being able to remember anything.
Well, I suspected because you had an onset diary from The Odd Couple, and
Yeah.
I thought you've been doing that all your life, keeping a journal.
Yeah, but not, I never put it all together and wasn't aware that I had this journal. I started writing this and I started looking up, oh my God, I wrote all this?
Oh, really? Do you
Yeah.
have old notebooks or?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So you weren't consciously saying, I will be
I'm gonna
Proust
put this
and I will.
together. Right, no.
No, but you just every once in a while you'd be inspired to write something. So it's
Yeah.
not, is it a ritual like every night or?
Oh, no,
No.
it's nothing that I purposely planned to do, but now I'm itching to be free to write.
Mm-hmm.
Knausgaard did this to me.
My struggle.
It's fascinating because it is that. It's just writing down everything that happened in his life.
Mm-hmm.
And you become hooked.
I had a journal for like a year, but I realized I was spending more time with the journal than my life.
Your
I'm like,
life,
wait a
yeah,
second, something's
right,
missing
right.
here. This isn't
and
right.
also, I kept, from time to time over the years, I had journals and diaries, and they were the same thing over and over and over again.
I'm working.
Why aren't I married?
That's unfortunately the question I have to answer
Yeah.
now. Before I could ignore it, I said, well, I'm not allowed to get married. Now it's like I have no excuse.
I don't know why I'm not married or why I didn't. I married once, and that was enough.
Mhm.
It just didn't happen. I had a lot of terrible affairs.
You talk about, you share some of your stories. Finding photographs of your boyfriend
Oh my
dressed
God.
up as a woman.
Yeah.
And he says, if you love me, you'll take me out in public. Like, and you were genuinely scared.
Of course.
Yeah. If people be like, because people could get violent, people could get angry, they get upset. If they see a man dressed as a woman and they realize what's going on and they've been tricked, they get very angry.
Oh, you mean I should have gotten...
No. You said you were scared of going out in public with him. I mean, it could just be dangerous if nothing else, especially in that era.
Really?
Oh yeah, I think so. Absolutely, yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, what were you scared of then?
Of running into Hal Prince.
You didn't think it was gonna be like Tootsie, where you'd be able to fool them and they wouldn't know.
There was no way
doesn't
this
help.
boy was going to fool anybody. I think I said he looked like the Seagram building.
Yeah.
He looked so big for a woman.
Well, B. Arthur was no small chicken.
No.
She was a strong one. I guess the drag queens loved her.
She was a deeply funny woman, really, really. She just something in her solar plexus, when her voice came out, you start laughing. When I went out to do that show, the last one, they called me at the last minute, and there'd been a big party the night before that she'd given, because possibly this was the last show. And people kept coming, as I was sitting with B, walking by and saying, "Hey B, that was a great party, thanks." And finally I said, I should have come a day earlier, because, and she interjected, "You wouldn't have been invited." She had an enormous ability to make you crack you up.
Mm-hmm.
But, I love Alan. I loved him in Cabaret. He was a darling guy.
That was a great production.
He was. He really was. I hated the role.
Why?
So humorless.
Did
What would you do? I don't care. Who cares? And I thought, oh, Christ,
Did you have to fight not to find humor in some of it?
I did, and I was saved by the off-Broadway things. I'd come off from Who Cares after, it was like having a fight, and they would cheer and have signs up giving me a 1 or a 5. Yeah, I feel like I know how to act now. but I don't know what, I couldn't describe it. I don't think you could teach acting.
that makes teaching acting.
Right. The thing I had to learn was not to listen to or think about laughs.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's death, right?
If
you can never be going for the laugh or it'll.
The whole thing that I want to do is really connect. That's the thing, you know, being focused on the other person.
Listening.
Listening.
That's how Spencer Tracy put it, right?
Yeah.
So it's all about you're actually listening to them.
Yeah.
You can tell when an actor is thinking about their lunch or when they're actually...
Right, yeah. But also when talking to them, really talking to them, I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah. You're not reciting a line, you're actually...
Yeah. Connecting, you know, that's what this exercise I did in this documentary was called the repeat exercise, which Sanford Meisner used, and the point of it is it's not the words you're saying, it's what you're conveying. Yes, and it's so hard to explain that to students. You know, you just say the words, but you're trying to respond to the feeling you're getting underneath. But they're like little zombies, these kids. You know.
Well, what if the intent of the character is I'm not listening to you and I'm waiting to say what I want to say next? You have to somehow get that across without feeling like you're
right. Well, that's you know, when somebody asks Meisner, "What do you do when you're on stage with somebody who's not giving you anything?" You just went.
No, I meant that's the actual character.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if your character is one who's not listening to you, and so well, anyway.
Well, that should make you know, respond. You know, I'm trying to talk to you. You know, say the line is. Your hair is red. Your hair is red. You know what I mean? Like, listen to me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's just so it was very difficult to get that over, but they somehow arranged the film so it looks like these kids learned something.
What was it like the first time you held it in your hand?
It was amazing. Yeah. I mean, I can't quite take it in yet. Who is this person?
And what was it like watching the film for the first time? Did you think, wait?
Oh, it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
But when I saw it at South by Southwest, they'd done a lot of work on it, and it was good. And I was glad these other actresses were in it now, not just me. You know.
Always wanted to step a little bit to the side.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's awful, but that's the way I am, yeah.
Well, thank you for taking the time to talk with me.
Thanks, Michael.